Thanks for joining me on episode 895 of the Inspired Stewardship Podcast.
I'm Joe Shum from Soul Patch Hippo Success Coaching. I want to serve your journey to be the next version of you, to be inspired to become the most authentic you. Listen to this, the Inspired Stewardship Podcast by my friend Scott Mader, every day can help you keep the focus that you need.
Actually improves your mood, improves your energy, improves your ability to take a self-care day, improves your ability to actually be able to do things and feel less like it is happening to you and more like you are happening to it. It begins to make you feel like you're in control of the situation, even when the situation is still bad. Welcome and thank you for joining us on the Inspired Stewardship Podcast. If you truly desire to become the person who God wants you to be, then you must learn to use your time, your talent, and your treasures for your true calling. In the Inspired Stewardship Podcast, you will learn to invest in yourself, invest in others, and develop your influence so that you can impact the world. In today's episode about impacting the world through stewarding your treasures, I talk with you about how money can be related to mental health. I share why it's not only about how much you make, it's also about more than that. And I also talk about some ways you can work on your underlying mental health while still working on your money. As we talk about stewarding your treasures, wouldn't it be great if you could support this podcast and do it without costing yourself an extra dime? Turns out you can. All you have to do is use inspiredstewardship.com/Amazon when you're ready to make a purchase via Amazon, and a small commission will come back to support the show. If you enjoy the show when you're ready to buy from Amazon, just use inspiredstewardship.com/Amazon. Money and mental health are related, and in fact, they're related in a number of different ways. I think, again, after the pandemic, after the last year and a half, we're seeing this in an interesting way, even more than perhaps we could see it before. The truth is, if you have poor mental health and poor self-care, that can cause money problems. And it's true that money problems can affect your mental health and your energy and your ability to do self-care. There's a circular feedback in this sort of relationship at some level. Many of the people that have debt also have mental health problems, and many people that have mental health problems also have financial struggles, and those financial struggles can then make their mental health problems worse. Not just because they can't afford to get care, but because the stress and strain of financial issues, the problem of problem debt, the worry and the anxiety about being able to pay bills, the possibility of legal action, all of these things can lower our energy and our ability to actually focus on our money. It can cause us to do rash and unwise things. It can cause us to spend money in an attempt to feel better when we don't actually have it. And the truth is, the pandemic has made this worse. The truth is that we've had more mental health issues at the exact same time that many people have lost jobs or had other strains put on their finances. And that has made it worse indeed. And the truth is that getting your finances in order can really help your mental health as well. It's amazing, but I've worked with clients over and over again in coaching around the money. And what's funny is their attitude and their energy goes up as their money gets more in control. They don't necessarily get a raise, but they suddenly feel better because they have more control. See, the truth is, it's not about how much you make. I've shared before the studies that show that happiness goes up to a certain amount as you make more money, but beyond a certain amount, there's no correlation between happiness and money. It's not just about making more money. It's not just about having more, quote, worldly success. It's not just about having a better job. It's also about your attitude and your behaviors. Is your money in alignment with your passion? Is your money in alignment with what you really want to do out of life? Or is your money so far out of alignment that it's creating stress and strain and anxiety? You can do that, by the way, without debt. That can happen to you even if you've got a lot of money, even if you've got a lot of success at a surface level. You probably know some people like that, some people who on the surface level seem to have it all and yet are struggling mentally and emotionally because of the money situation. The truth is, you can work on your underlying mental health while working on your money because they're connected to each other. If you're having struggles and anxieties, going to therapy, going to counseling, learning to communicate better, learning to understand yourself, learning some therapy and some techniques on how you can help control your mindset will actually improve your relationship with money and improve your money situation. By the same token, going and getting help on improving your money situation, learning how to budget, learning how to plan, learning how to be intentional with your money actually improves your mood, improves your energy, improves your ability to take a self-care day, improves your ability to actually be able to do things and feel less like it is happening to you and more like you are happening to it. It begins to make you feel like you're in control of the situation, even when the situation is still bad. It doesn't matter because you begin to get a sense of autonomy, a sense of control, a sense of authority. And that helps your mental picture. That helps your mental health. That helps you feel better. And I'm not just talking here, when I use the term mental health, I'm not necessarily talking about a diagnosed mental health condition. I'm not talking about you've gone to the doctor and been diagnosed with depression. It could be that, but it also could just be the fact that you are overwhelmed, you're burned out, you're tired. All of these things are part and parcel of our mental health as well. So it's not just about diagnosed situations. And by the way, that's one of the reasons I'm an advocate for therapy, even when you're doing well. Therapy and coaching are not just about coming for those things when you're in crisis, not just coming whenever you're struggling. They're also about taking a good and making it into a great. You can do that because it's being intentional. You can do that because it's about learning new tools and new techniques and new patterns. It's about being held accountable and having someone outside of yourself challenging your thoughts, your process, and where you're at in a positive way so that you can begin to intentionally align your life, your values, your priorities, your money, and your beliefs all in the same direction. And when those vectors all point the same direction, the energy that it gives your life is tremendous. Thanks for listening. Thanks so much for listening to the Inspired Stewardship podcast. As a subscriber and listener, we challenge you to not just sit back and passively listen, but act on what you've heard and find a way to live your calling. If you like this episode on the stewardship of treasures, you can sign up for our treasures tips by going to inspiredstewardship.com/treasures or text in the U.S. 44222 treasures tips. And we'll send you 5 weeks of our best tips on stewarding your treasures. Until next time, invest your time, your talent, and your treasures. Develop your influence and impact the world.